Hi, so this is a little blurb about your right to terminate the relationship you have with a currently appointed Social Security disability representative, whether it's an attorney or a non-attorney rep. The fact is you do have that right, of course, and you do not need the attorney's permission. You don't need anything from him. Um, you would do a letter to SSA and or call them. You definitely want to make sure you always have it in writing and always have proof you sent it, and always make sure you tell the representative that you're disconnecting from. So that's the easy part. You have the right. I want to talk more about what you might want to think about before you do it. I get not infrequently do I get a call with somebody. I got it this week. It happens multiple times a month. Someone who has terminated the relationship with their attorney rep, or non-attorney rep. And in this case, it was an attorney rep. And now they're looking for a new attorney and they have a pending case. I think they're heading to hearing, actually, the one I just spoke to. But there are some considerations as to whether the next attorney is going to want to take your case. For instance, when you terminated with your attorney, was it mutual, and did he or she agree to waive their fee? Did you know that the prior representative is going to have a right to request a fee if you win the case, even if you win it on your own later because you weren't able to get an attorney, or if you get it with another rep? So now you're going to have, if you did have another rep subsequently, you're going to have two representatives, two attorneys or non-attorney reps seeking a fee. Now, if it's a $6,000 fee cap because of the contingent nature of the contingency fee agreements that the SSA approves, that's not necessarily going to help you, because if you have two reps, those don't apply anymore. Your protective fee agreement that limited your fee to a very small amount no longer applies. What happens instead when there's two attorneys that are going to be requesting a fee for the work they did, the methodology that the SSA uses is called a fee petition. Each side that wants to request a fee will have to submit a fee petition. And even if the one doesn't request a fee but never waived fee, the subsequent one's going to have to submit a fee petition. We all can't stand it, but it is the way it is. So the reason why the second attorney might not be happy about that, number one, it's a pain. It can take like a year or more to get reviewed by the SSA and then approved. Approved in some amount. It might not be the amount that the attorney worked for that's in the itemization of all the work done, because that's what's included in it. It takes a long time, so they starve in between. And because the SSA has discretion on what amount to approve, it is my personal opinion that they take what would be perhaps a suitable under the circumstances entire fee, and they split it. So now this attorney is getting half of what he should be getting if it were contingent. And the other attorney, who in theory did put in X amount of work on the case before you guys split, is going to get a piece too. And it could maybe likely be 50-50. So neither one is going to be happy with that, but certainly the second one, which is why many of them will take your case if you had a prior representative on case. So think about that and the possibility that you might not be able to get another attorney. The fee split, the length of time it takes for the fee petition to be approved, and the amount of time it takes to put it together, it's a real pain. It's not hard, but guess what? Our hours are really slim and we already work on a very close margin. So that's another reason why people don't favor them. I will say if you get the fee waiver from the first attorney, none of this is going to apply. So that's what you really want to try to do. But you might have a hard time. They want to get paid for what they did, whether you think they did a lot or not. They might also have a hurt ego if you dump them. So think of all these reasons why they might not waive fee before you kick them to the curb. And then when you talk to the new attorney, if if it were me, I think it would behoove us all to always ask a potential new client. You have to get us a copy of the letter where your prior attorney withdrew and waived fee. Now, again, you can withdraw without him, but with that fee waiver would normally be his recognition of a withdrawal and they'd be waiving fee. So that's the letter that the second attorney is going to want. So they can also send it into the SSA to make double sure that that thing got processed, because I've seen it. I've had it happen to me where the other side kindly did waive fee and then the SSA dropped the ball and never processed it. And at, 2 years later, after all my work, I still had to do a fee petition. But when you talk to the lawyer, if you've done this more than once, they're not going to like it that you're doing it once because of the reasons I just mentioned. But if they get the sense that you had 2 prior reps, aside from the whole fee splitting nightmare, you might look like a shopper, someone who, or an attorney hopper, a representative hopper. You move along and then you terminate and grab a new one when you don't get what you want. And I'm not saying that's what's happening at all. And I'd say most of the time it's probably that communication discrepancy where a client doesn't feel he's being heard or doesn't even know if his attorney is still alive. But unless you really make that clear of how egregious the neglect was, you might look like you're hopping and that you're overly demanding. You might be high maintenance. Once in a blue moon, we have a high maintenance client who, as we work for free for, thinks we should also do their dry cleaning for them. So if the impression is that you are kicking them to the curb for the most insufficient reasons, you're probably not going to get a new attorney. Again, it's hard enough to get a new attorney if you're switching attorneys. It really is. I mean, I'm a softie and I think long and hard, and I usually kick myself when I agree to do it because I know I'm being business-wise irresponsible in some ways, but sometimes I just feel like I must. But not everyone's going to do that, and nor should they. So give it some thought before you burn that bridge with the current representative. Okay. You do always have the right, and you don't need them to do it, but there could be repercussions that you're not thinking of. So give that some thought and get your ducks in a row before you make the decision. All right. Have a great one. Bye.